We're going to Mars.
Welcome once again to SpaceX people. We're glad to have you here. I'm very, very excited here because I've got some Hungarians, actually a production company from Hungary that is here called Space Junkie. They've been here already like a week and a half, I think. And so now we're getting a chance to talk to them before they leave to say what their experience was like, how they liked our Brownsville area, and what they got to do. So welcome, David and Sabi. How are you guys?
Pleasure.
Hey,
Thanks for inviting us.
Nice to meet you and very good to be here.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. I'm very excited. Maria, like a week and a half ago, or something, 2 weeks, told me about you guys, right? And she's like, "Hey, do you think you can interview these guys that are coming from Hungary?" And they're here to do a production. And then I didn't hear from her. So I thought you guys didn't come, or I thought you guys weren't here. And so I'm glad that at the end, at least, I got to meet you guys, because I didn't get to see you guys doing your stuff. But tell me a little bit about, so you were telling me you live in Hungary, and Sabi, you live in London. So let's start with David. David, where do you live in Hungary? Where is Hungary?
Yeah, Hungary is a quite small country in Central Europe. And I live in Budapest, so the capital of Hungary.
How many people are in Hungary totally? Total.
A bit less than 10 million.
10 million people, okay.
About 9.7, I guess. So we are all the time less a bit. So.
And you live in Budapest?
Yeah, I live in
Budapest. And
Budapest
is the capital. And how many people live in that city?
About 2 million. So the majority of Hungary lives in Budapest. So it's a very, very big city. It's I would say it's quite a big city, but of course not as big as, for example, Chicago or New York or some other things.
Well, you're going to go to Houston. Houston's probably way bigger than.
Yeah, because I said as an example Chicago because when we arrived here in the US, we arrived actually in Chicago. So we were we were there one day, and then we moved to Florida first. But
you went to go see the rocket scene in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay. How long were you guys there?
So we landed on 28th of July.
Okay.
Yeah, we spent there a week. An amazing week.
Really?
We were so lucky.
Yeah,
did you see a launch?
Two launches in one day.
Oh, right. Awesome.
Which hasn't happened since
1967.
Both for Starlinks or what?
No, it was
none of them. One was
it was the Atlas V GO6, so SBIRS GO6 mission in the morning, very early in the morning, and then in the evening was the SpaceX KPLO mission. Wow. It's a South Korean moon lander actually, so it's not like a regular Starlink mission. Of course, we would be more than happy if we could see a Starlink, but it was more interesting because South Korea has not so regular launch. So,
Right. And so you guys are a production company, is that correct? I mean, you guys have a YouTube channel, and you guys are showing, I imagine, because your shirt says Space Junkie, just space stuff.
That's what we are, Space Junkies.
Space Junkies. Sabi, you live in London.
I do.
Right? I do. So, and you are basically the YouTuber, or you were the YouTuber that they brought in to like take over that part?
That's how it started. So these guys were running a blog called Space Junkie. And I was running a Facebook group, and then I met them, and there was an idea from them. Why don't we? So I was already streaming rocket launches because Hungarians are not really good in English, so we wanted to bring the details closer because anybody can watch a SpaceX live stream of a launch, but they don't really understand the details.
Right.
So I started streaming, and then they got the idea, why don't we try to do it together? Because they write about it.
Yeah.
I'm enthusiastic about it. So let's do it together. And chemistry was just right there from moment one.
We're missing 3 more.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 more that are not here right now.
2 more.
2 more.
Two more, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
that are part of the team.
Yeah, we are now 4 plus 1 guy, a camera guy.
Yeah.
Because our idea was when we started to plan this whole road trip, is a very big documentary, actually.
A road trip movie.
A road trip
Right.
movie. So we didn't want to just come here and some pictures with cell phones, but we wanted to do it as
Properly.
Maximum.
Yeah, you want to tell a
possible.
story. I mean, that's what we do a lot of, right? Like if I want to shoot anything right now, I just came. So we just got hired to shoot the transportation of windmills. I don't know if you guys noticed how many windmills we have.
Yes.
We saw them.
So we have a lot of wind power now.
Yeah.
And so they just hired us to do the logistics, the shooting of how they get to the place and then how they get constructed.
Yep.
So we're about to start shooting that. So that's what I was doing right before this. But I always want to tell it in a story, right? They're like, just shoot the road. And I'm like, no, I don't want to shoot the road. I want to be like, actually shoot the process and how you do it, right?
Yeah,
you want to tell the story
right.
of it. Yeah. So that's so you guys brought a camera guy with you guys.
Yeah.
That's probably usually not on your team, but
He's basically he's coming from our fan base.
got it.
So we got a really strong fan base.
Yes.
Luckily, the hardcore people who just love space, just like we do, and we're kind of filling a gap in Hungary because nobody's doing this type of live streams. People can interact with us. People can talk to us. People can ask questions, and I think that's our strongest point.
So why do you think that is? Why do you think you have such a strong base of people that are into you guys don't launch, I imagine, right?
No.
You guys don't have a space
Europe
program,
doesn't.
right?
No, not yet.
European Space
But
Agency.
Russia or
is
what?
No. European Space Agency has its own sort of rocket launch plans, but they
Do they launch though?
Yeah. But from
Okay.
French
Yeah.
Guyana, from
Okay.
Kourou, but it's far away. It's South America. So
Yeah.
because Europe is not really a perfect place for launching rockets,
Right.
Because it's so inhabited.
Yeah.
a
There's too many people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we need to go away. And then, America was always cool with rocket
Yeah.
launches. I mean, as we've been to KSC and we've been to the Johnson Space Center,
Right.
we just saw the amazing history of
Yeah.
Atlas 4.
Yeah, this 50 years history is totally insane. What US has
Yeah.
achieved in these decades, so it's
Yeah,
absolutely
It's so
insane.
I didn't know anything, right? I always like to say that there's a famous saying here that Plymouth Rock, when we landed on Plymouth Rock, right? But the saying backwards in the movie is Plymouth Rock landed on us, and that's what happened to Brownsville, right? SpaceX landed on us, right? So ever since SpaceX landed, now I'm really like engaged with everything, right? And I'm starting to learn as much as I can. I learned by doing this, right? And so I've had some very, very interesting people already. I had a city manager for Nassau Bay, which is right in front of NASA in Houston, is the little town there.
Yep.
And his dad worked for NASA. So this guy has grown up and he's already retired. So he grew up in NASA and then he worked right next to NASA. And so he's got that history. He's lived it his whole life.
Wow.
And I got to talk to him. I've talked to him several times. His name's David Stahl, if you want to go see that episode. And he's been a great inspiration for me, right? Trying to learn. He told me, and so when you went to Florida, this is a good question. When you went to Florida and when you came here, what is the access difference? Like, how much access do you have here compared to Florida?
I guess it's a different story. It's a different approach.
Right.
Because there you see mainly the historical
Right.
side of it. Plus, obviously, it's an active space center, so
Right.
they are launching rockets, just like we've seen 2 of them,
Right,
which
right.
is amazing. We originally came for the Falcon Heavy, the Psyche launch,
Yeah.
but it's been postponed, so sadly. But we've seen 2 of them. But here, I think you see the future.
Yeah.
You see exactly where this whole thing is heading to, and what's going to happen in the future. And I think that's what's keeping people on the toes.
Yes.
Totally different stuff, because current versus future.
Right. Right.
And the other story that, for example, if we're talking about 2 days about something, maybe tomorrow will be a history already because everything's changing
Yes.
so quick.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, we like I've got to see just different iterations of the same rocket,
Yeah.
right? From when they started to today, it's a totally different rocket.
Absolutely.
It looks the same, but they've added a bunch of like the black heat pads that they put on. That wasn't in the first rocket,
Yep.
and like I've gotten to see how it evolves a little bit, and then you go there and you see the little statues, the 3 rockets and the super
We
heavy.
did that yesterday.
Yeah. So
Rocket Garden.
So you get to see the rocket garden, and you kind of get to see where we're going, right? And they're probably just going to keep adding and adding to the ones they don't use, right? And it's just amazing.
But it's revolutionary, I think, isn't it? Because this iterative sort of approach to just develop on the go,
Right.
versus if you look back, this non-existent. In
No.
rocket history, this there was always drawing boards, and once they thought it's ready to go, they built it and it's ready to go.
Right.
This way, I mean, we've got so many naysayers, sort of, nah, it's never gonna happen. It's so dusty. The wind is blowing the dust, and they just fooling around people. But it's not. I mean, now they are less and less deniers.
I think that you can see like the Elon approach has revolutionized the whole space program in the world.
Yeah, with these reusable rockets, just think about it. That for example, I guess 7 years ago, we couldn't imagine that a rocket could
Just land. Yes.
come and landing.
Now he's doing the super heavy. He wants to land the super heavy.
Yeah.
You saw the size of that, right? It's just crazy. And they have these chopsticks that are going to catch it in the air. I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah, we were speechless when we saw oh my God, it's as high as an entire Falcon 9 rocket.
Right.
But it's only the first stage.
It's only the first stage. It's going to be the biggest rocket in the world. Yeah. They've already put it together. You guys didn't get to see it all, right? Like
no, we didn't see it.
Yeah, sometimes they put it together.
Yeah.
Just to like test or look at it.
On the videos we saw.
Yeah, but I mean like in person.
Yeah.
In person is totally different.
We didn't know what we're going to get because we booked our tickets, like 2 months ago? 2.5, something like that.
In spring, about in April or so.
Even more back. So it's just really a luck.
But there's always things going on. Like before you guys got here, there was an explosion that happened. That was really loud. You probably heard about it.
I mean, we are following it on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
and we do podcasts about it. So he's the expert of it. So he's writing like a fluid.
So how much do you follow Brownsville or Starbase compared to the other places? I mean, to the other places in the world that do launches like Florida or...
I think 40-50% of our content
is
about
from
it.
here.
Yeah, because the Starbase and Starship is very interesting for all of the people who never heard about it.
So is Hungary very interested in... Maria's trying to call something. Can you answer her and just tell her we're in the podcast? So the Hungarians, the people from Hungary, really like the content from Brownsville or from Starbase.
I think whoever follows us, yes, but we are really working hard to actually shine a light on how cool is that, and we are actually just paving the way for people to actually, we already had like so many people coming to our shows and saying, I didn't even know I love this topic. And I watch your podcast and it's mind blowing. I didn't know there's so much going on. So I think what we do is we're trying to make people love it. Right. Just show what's going on, and obviously they will decide. So it's a kind of, yes, a lot of people interested. We have
but it's working. Right? I mean, it's working so much that you guys decided to travel over here. I mean, if it wasn't working, you guys would not be here.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's all down to our supporters.
Yeah, without our supporters, we couldn't be here.
Yeah.
That's what's fascinating to me, that you guys found an audience in a small country, right, that can support this type of documentation.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's one thing like what you guys were doing, and now you guys get to see it, and it's way easier for you guys to go back and report on it now that you know how it looks. You know where you're at. Absolutely. You kind of see the towns, you see the people, you see the whole trajectory. I think it makes it easier for you guys, right?
That's the whole point of it. And to be fair, we've got like over 2 terabytes of data already.
We record everything.
If you of course. I mean, we just did a 360 Instagram's 360 tour yesterday.
Yes.
We are uploading it today.
Yes.
And I don't
did you shoot with a 360 camera?
Yeah. And we just drove from the build side to the test side and back and forth.
What kind of camera do you guys have for 360?
It's an Insta.
The little ones.
Yeah.
Oh, we rented the big one last time. We didn't go out there, but I want to go. We did it. We have a parade. Like we have a celebration of the city. So we rented it, to do a VR experience.
Yeah.
Because the next thing I want to do over there is a VR experience where you can actually drive what you guys did, but VR.
We tested it because so from our supporters in KSC, we've been given a chopper tour.
Right.
So we flew over KSC, the Kennedy Space Center.
Yes.
And we did a 360
from up there.
Yeah, and people love it.
Yeah.
Because you can just look around and almost being with us.
Right.
And also we've done the 2 rocket launches, the Atlas V and the Falcon 9. So people can watch our reactions and in the same time they can see the launch.
Right.
So, and they love it.
Yeah.
Whoever got to see it, they are like, dude, this is so cool. Because it's like, I'm right there.
Right.
Yeah, and we are so proud to be achieved this kind of content creation or content making because as far as we know, nobody else from Hungary has done this before. So
no, I can imagine.
Maybe we are the first guys who recording like 360. So
and to be fair, just if I just quickly run through, I mean how lucky we were. So in that 1 week in KSC,
yes,
we've seen the shortfall of Gravitas and just with the instructions coming in and out, the drone ships, from Port Canaveral. We've seen a booster sort of lifted from the drone ship. We've seen 2 rocket launches. We got to fly over KSC. Then we got to Johnson Space Center. We've seen everything, really. And then here, we've seen a static fire.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Maria Pointer invited us to her
place to check it out.
So we've been like a mile and a half.
Yeah.
And the static fire happened. And when we drove there was no sign of any static fires tests.
Right. They do whatever they want, apparently, whenever they want. I don't know. they decide like today we're gonna do it.
Luckily. But and it's not over because today we wanted to chill, and it looks like Elon is here, and it looks like they're gonna go for a static fire again. Yeah,
it might be because he wants to see it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many days a week, but he's here normally several days a week, or like a good chunk every 2 weeks. And when he's here, you're right. I think he likes to. So I'm sure you're aware that we're moving towards an orbital test.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what the excitement is around here right now. Right. So all of this is working towards that. And so I don't know if the first test is going to be like the ones we did before, like they did before.
Yeah.
Where it's just the Starship going back and down before they do the orbital. But I think they want to try to do something either at the end of this month or at the beginning of next month. But I don't know if that's the orbital or just a normal test. But testing is going to start again. And you guys don't understand like how it got here. So they tested, obviously, did you guys broadcast the testings that they did here?
All of it.
All the suborbital tests we've been broadcasted.
On SN8, we just lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, my tone went like 3 octaves up. I sounded like a girl. I was screaming. We were like this. We couldn't believe our eyes.
So I've talked to before. So, okay, just imagine that. But... So on the other side of where you guys are at Starbase is South Padre Island. I don't know if you guys went. Okay. Did you go to Isla Blanca where people stand and watch the rocket?
Yeah,
okay.
On the pier.
So imagine thousands of people screaming like that.
Yep.
It was incredible because I was telling Renee, you guys met right now, that it's kind of like being at a stadium, like a soccer game, but everybody's cheering for the same team.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so positive. It was such a positive, and you feel it. Such a positive energy. It was amazing to watch that. And this is during the pandemic where there's not still a lot of tourism. So I'm thinking that when these tests happen, a lot more people are going to come, and a lot more people are going to gather to watch these things. And it's going to be amazing, right? We'll try to get you some footage from Isla Blanca where we'll try to connect you guys to the actual people that are here, because that would be also cool for you guys to see. You know, not just the rocket, but the people that are all around.
Awesome.
Because we usually hang out with everybody.
Yeah, because when we were at the KPLO launch, after the launch, we interviewed some people all around the beach. Yeah. So how did you feel? What was like for you? So it was the first launch you have seen, or what? Why do you are here actually? And they were so
That's what we do all the time.
Excited.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh my God, it was so beautiful. Oh, because we've been talked about a lot that the live streams can't give back for example the view and the sound either. No. So when you are live there, it's totally different. So the lights, so the sound is oh my God, it's so bright. It's brighter than the sun maybe.
Yeah.
So it was totally insane to see the both of the launches in person.
Oh, you should have been here when they blew up. It was just amazing. Can you just imagine the rocket lands back and just blows up in front of you? It's just crazy.
People were saying that as the rocket sort of climbs up, it doesn't get quieter. It actually gets louder and louder.
Well, because for us, we're on the other side of the beach. So it travels.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So when it's up, you're listening to what was down here. So it's just like really loud and it's just amazing.
Yeah. What we are really happy for, if you see our T-shirts, says Team Space.
Team Space.
For a reason. We met Felix Schlang from What About It.
Okay.
He's an amazing person. Incredible. And we just keep on and Maria.
Right.
And she's right in the epicenter of all this.
Right. She lives there.
Yeah, exactly. So for us, it's not just the experience, it's the people. And now we are here and it's we just get to see so much love. And so what you just said, you put it really nicely. We are cheering for the same team.
Right.
And there's only one
I
team.
think and there's a global community forming. Yeah. Right. I don't want to say that I'm part of it because I'm an idiot and don't know much, but I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot, right? I get to talk to people like you and understand more as this goes along, but I'm fascinated. I am fascinated by not just the whole rocket but also by the people, right? I'm fascinated that people just keep showing up. You guys don't understand how this, like you guys come in, happens all the time now, right? Yeah. A month ago in June, it was Elon's birthday.
Okay.
And they hired us, Beyond Media, to shoot a video for his birthday. Right?
Really?
Yeah, wow. Yeah. And I'll show it to you guys after. It's really cool. Nice. I can't say it's but I really liked it. Nice. But when we were doing that, there was some people from Paris for a magazine that were here to do a whole section of the magazine about Brownsville and SpaceX, right? So it's happening more and more, and I think that I'm just so happy that Brownsville gets to be a part of it, right? And you guys get to like meet a few of us, right? See that this is a cool place to come. I'm hoping that place. I'm hoping that your audience is going to send you back now that they see how cool it is and all the cool stuff that you guys can do, right? So. I think that, I mean, when they start launching, if you guys come back in a year, they're going to test this all the time. According to Elon, he wants to do it every 6 weeks. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So
it depends on so much, but
let's convince FAA.
The approvals.
Of course. But this guy does whatever he wants. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be regular launches, tests from here. Yeah. And it's going to be so interesting. And so, okay. I'll start with you, David. Why space? Why'd you start this blog? What got into your head? You're in Hungary. There's no rockets. There's nothing. Why?
So actually, I was growing up below an airstrip. So I saw all the time airplanes.
Corridor.
Corridor. Sorry, and I saw. Every day, just flying the planes and
landing and leaving.
And then just one day happened that I've seen a picture about space shuttle, and I just fell in love.
How old were you when that?
Around 9 or 10.
Really?
So kind of small guy.
Yeah.
And after that, it was a bit pausing, if I can say that. Right. And after it, when SpaceX was growing and the launches were more regular, and they just brought back the first Falcon 9. I was thinking, something happening, and all the space life is getting growing, and the Falcon Heavy demo flight, it was totally insane. So maybe that was that moment that I felt that I want to do this, because in Hungary there wasn't any blog that
And the blog started with the three of you?
only two.
Two of you.
Two of us.
So you found another guy like you.
Yeah.
You found another crazy guy like
you.
you.
We were friends and classmates as well.
Okay.
And we just thought about it. Okay, let's do this. Let's start a blog to collect every space related news.
Talk about why you started. Because you were unsatisfied with the media.
Yeah. So in Hungary is a totally different thing. It was not so perfect and not so objective. Collectors or news collectors just they went for the hysterical and
clickbaity
and
with space stuff.
Yeah. Also
with everything.
Space stuff.
Yeah. It's media.
Yeah. We know media, unfortunately. Yeah, and that's why we thought about that. Okay, we will be objective, and we collect every news, but of course as an amateur. So none of us is an expert. So we are not rocket scientists. We are not astronomers. We are not engineers. We just collect news, and we giving back our news, but we have collected in our language,
right?
In an everyday language, and maybe that's why it's all the time more likely that even more people follow us because of our everyday language, so they can understand much better. Because
I think did you guys get to see people with cameras here, right?
Yeah,
you got to see that there's normal Americans all over the place here now, shooting all the time, right? And you can see live streamers that are streaming this every day, all the time. And then there's people that just show up with their cameras, and it's just like it happens here a lot. I'm sure that you guys are probably one of the only ones in Hungary, but here it's very common now. Right? The fascination with it, the getting into trying to document in like what you said, a very organic way.
Yeah.
Right. Not in a newsy, but in a very real, like we're all part of the team kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because if we come to the topic of rocket or rocket science, everybody thinks that I won't understand that, it's too much for me.
Right.
And that's why we want to show them then no, it can be much easier. Of course, if we go in the details, but we explain every small details. So we just not broadcasting launching. Okay, Falcon 9 went up and going down, coming back. But we also going into the small details. Why actually the rocket can be launched?
Right.
What happens during a launch?
The whole process. The engines, the propellant, the staging, everything. So that's why maybe it's even better for the people as well, that they can understand actually what's happening, and that's why they like much better as they just seeing that okay. Yeah, it's a technical explanation.
Yeah,
and that like brings people into the process, and it's not just okay, we're gonna throw a rocket up, since we kind of get. And you, Sabi, how did you get into space? Why space?
I think I always had the interest.
Why are you in London? I'm just kidding.
I lived here in the States.
Really?
When I was much younger.
Really?
During my studies, I studied agriculture.
Okay.
And I think it pushed me towards an international sort of road to just live abroad. I lived in Holland, and then I wasn't really finding what I wanted in Hungary. So I moved to, my brother lives in near London now as well. So it was easier to just, let's go to London. And I just got stuck there, kind of. Yeah. And why space? I think I always had slight interest, just like probably most of the people. But I started astronomy, amateur astronomy. So I photographed the moon, the sun, the planets with telescopes. And I have a website where I share International Space Station photos, because I manually tracked telescope.
Right.
I photographed close-up photos of the ISS. And I think that sort of started pushing me towards space. Okay, what's the ISS? What's the International Space Station? What is it doing there? How they get there?
Right.
And then rockets and spacecrafts, and then SpaceX came along. And I think SpaceX inspired a lot of people, especially when they first landed the first stage.
Right.
That's just that was, everybody thought that's impossible.
Yeah, it blew everybody's mind. I remember that. It just blew everybody's mind, because everybody, like you said, nobody thought that feat could be completed, right?
Yeah.
And then this guy says I could do it, right? Which is insane, right?
But I have to say that on our channel, we keep on talking about it, that it's not a one-man show.
Right.
It's not Elon Musk.
Of course.
Everybody is saying that guy. But I think it's very important to give a credit for all those bright engineers who are working for SpaceX and making this happen. He's got the vision, he's got the goal, but actually the people who are the ones.
And obviously you've got to see there's a bunch of them, right?
Yeah.
You saw how many people it takes to do this. I mean, when you go just here, it's thousands and thousands.
Yeah, they're
of people.
gathering here now more than 1,000 people. So I don't know how many, but
yeah, and they have people in California.
Yeah,
they have people
Florida.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Right, and Florida's about to start a new manufacturing plant as well.
We saw it.
Yeah, and it's I've gotten to meet some of the engineers here. Amazing people. You know, it's been really cool. And so then, okay, but all of this stuff that you're doing, Sabi, is it in English or is it in Hungarian?
Space Station Guys is in English.
Okay.
SpaceStationGuys.com, and that's now the biggest collection of amateur International Space Station photographs. So I got photos. So I got my work, and I got a guest photos part.
Right.
And
like people
keep on sending me photos from all over the world.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of a community. So I'm using that for making Space Junkie popular as well, because now we are a team, and obviously if I can gather some more international awareness of what we are doing, and our road trip gonna be English subtitled.
Yes.
Because I think it's important that what we do now is not, it doesn't only matter in Hungary, but I think it will shine a light on how just everyday regular people can get into this. You don't need a qualification. If you're enthusiastic, if you've got the passion, you're already there.
Yeah.
And the rest will follow.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I think that having the English subtitles is really smart because and probably if I was you, I'd do it in different languages, not just English, right? Because
we are tiny at the moment and we don't have the resources. We all have our daytime jobs.
Yeah.
So we try to make it. Yeah.
Quit.
Yeah. We need to start.
So you guys are on vacation? Do you guys took vacation from your jobs to come here?
Yes. But it doesn't feel like a vacation. I mean, we had maybe 2 days of kind of vacation-y sort of feeling, but the rest is we are constantly exhausted because either we're shooting or we're putting out content or shooting or traveling.
Or traveling.
Yeah.
It's vacation on paper only.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's the time of our lives.
Yeah.
This is amazing what we went through.
It's well, I can imagine it's because have you ever been to the US before?
Yeah, I was in Hawaii 11 years ago.
That's not the US.
Yeah, it's a totally different planet, not only world, but
that's a paradise island. We don't get it. We're not even allowed over there. Yeah. No. But so you had never been to the
mainland?
To the mainland,
never.
Yeah.
No.
Wow. And what have you thought so far?
Pardon?
What have you thought so far?
Absolutely nice people. They are so friendly everywhere. So not only here in Brownsville, but in Florida, they were so friendly with us. So it's much other things here in the US as in Europe. So nothing of the world can, also in the people in the US can not imagine quite good how can be the life in Europe and the same on the other side. So that's why it's good for us, this road trip, that we can actually know new people with new habitats, and it's a totally different environment actually. So when during we just drove here from Florida, we've drove through 4 states. I guess. 4
states, yeah.
So
Alabama.
Oh, so you drove?
Yeah,
you didn't fly to Houston.
No, we drove here from Florida. It's
okay.
1,400
miles. I know what it takes.
1,400 miles.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah,
it's a lot.
Through Atlanta, through. To Georgia. Yeah, to Georgia. No.
Mississippi.
Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas.
Yeah, Mississippi, Texas.
Yeah. We just went along the coast.
Yeah.
So we've been traveling half of the US if we just line it up. So we have seen so much different birds,
you got to see the road,
or
you
the
got to
environment.
see,
just drawing hundreds of miles just straight ahead, and
that's crazy.
Exhausting, but
exhausting.
If you ask me if it's worth it, yes, please.
Yeah,
100% yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I'm so happy that you guys have had a good experience and that you guys have seen it. So how long have you been here? A week, right? You said
2 weeks.
2 weeks in Brownsville.
No. In the US. So
no. In Brownsville, how long have you been?
3 days. So we have been arrived. We've been arriving on Tuesday, I guess, and unfortunately we have to go home tomorrow, early in the morning.
I can call your boss and like get you more time.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
Yeah.
But if everything goes well, we'll be back.
Yeah. We have to go. We have to come back once.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've got to try to come back for one of the tests, right? Because that would be amazing. I mean, it's very different than I think what you saw over there. Because this is like rough test. It's amazing.
I mean, yesterday we drove by the Rocket Garden. As well, and as we were turning around, it's not a joke. It's like we were like 20 meters away from SN15.
Yes,
that's the
all
closest. With the heat tide.
SN20.
20. Sorry.
SN20.
Yeah. And it was 20 meters away from us, and you just look upon it, and just go, "What?
Yeah,
this is gonna fly soon. This is mind blowing."
Yeah.
And hopefully we're gonna influence a lot of people, and they're gonna recognize that that's gonna happen soon, and that it's gonna revolutionize.
That's the thing, right? That I think that it's kind of like more and more people are discovering it, right? And the more like I said, I discovered it because it landed here, right? If SpaceX wouldn't have come, I probably would have never been into rockets. Probably would have never been like fast. I'm not as young as you guys, so. You know, it's too late for me to start studying stuff.
It's never too late.
I know, but I'm doing it now, right? But now that it came, I learned so much all the time, and I'm fascinated with everything, right? Just the people that you get to meet, not only the people who travel, the people who work here now. There's amazing engineers here. There's amazing people that are just all around us because they live here, right? They live in our community now. So it's been really fascinating for me. I'm very happy that SpaceX came. You know, there's been a lot of in the community. There's been a lot of battle for that because obviously you're launching rockets, and we have birds. We're a big birding community, and we have a big environment. As you saw, that's all reserved.
It's beautiful.
So that's all public land. Public land. And we had a beach, right? We have a beach there that you guys got. Did you guys get to go see the Boca Chica beach?
Of course.
Yeah. So we have a beach, right? That they are like kind of in the middle of, right? So when they block the street, they block the beach. And so all of these have been tiny issues, which I don't think have been that big of a deal as they've made out to be. But I, for one, have been very happy with so far. I think the interaction between them and our community, the interaction between people like you guys that have visited in our community, and how you guys get to just know about Brownsville a little bit, right? Just because we're by SpaceX. So you're going to go to Hungary and you're going to talk about Brownsville.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to take, we're going to talk about the beautiful experiences that this place gave us.
Yeah, and there's going to be a David, 9 years old, in Hungary right now, that is going to hear you guys and maybe show up in 10 years here. Yeah. Be like, hey, I remember when Space Junkie came and documented.
We have kids.
Yeah, it's one of our biggest goal to bring for kids this whole topic even closer as much as possible. So. Yeah, it's what turns people like. I asked you these questions because I've asked everybody that I have here, right? Like, how did you, why space, what's going on? And a lot of them had something when they were a kid that really got them into it. So what I've learned so far is that if we expose the kids, that could just trigger it. Yeah. Right? Like the planes triggered you.
I think very important what we realized along the way is that it's not just about rockets what we do and maybe what you do and what this community is doing. It's about making science popular, making people understand that science is making our species, taking it forward. Yes. How important it is to love science. And it's not just about rockets. Again, I really want to highlight it. We get so much love by people saying that they love the vision that we're going to go to the moon. We're going to go to discover our solar system. We can spend, if Starship gonna be built, it opens up a whole new possibilities of new probes, landing, colonizing, mining. It will turn everything. The utopia will become real.
It's a game changer.
And what you said is also like, so I've gotten to see here, there's an actual program where they take NASA technology that got developed because they're building these things. They come up with technology that can now be implemented in everyday life, right? And so I think you can license it from NASA. And there's several programs here that help companies that want to license this new technology from NASA. And I imagine that SpaceX is the same thing, right? They're probably coming up with technology like, oh, this could be useful in real world also. So it's fascinating. I think that STEM, what you're talking about, STEM education, helping places like Hungary. I don't know if you guys know, but Brownsville is not a very rich community, right? We're a very young community, right? We're all very in population. We're probably one of the youngest in the country. Oh, wow. So we have a lot of kids. Right, and all these kids are going to grow up with they do tours for kids now. So they take the kids and they show them all of SpaceX. So just imagine if David, 9 years old, got to see SpaceX, and it's going to change a lot of lives, right? And it's just going to trigger that, whether it be space or technology, right?
Let's mention James Webb, because we've got two scientists in Hungary. They are Hungarians.
Yes.
One of them lives in in Hungary and Germany. His name is Urs Detra.
Okay.
He worked on the MIRI. He was the European electronic, the head of the electronic development
team.
And the other guy, András Gaspar, he lives in Tucson, Arizona, and he worked on both MIRI and NIRCam, and they were part of the commissioning. They were busy like hell in the past few weeks, and they came to our show and they talked about the first images, how they developed the instruments, so on and so forth. And basically what we're trying to show to Hungarians, that just because we are not a rocket launching country, it doesn't matter. You can still become a scientist. You can still be part of awesome projects. So it doesn't matter that we don't have rocket programs.
No, I think that a lot of the engineers are from all over the world, right? That you don't have to be American to come up. I mean, it's just if you're a scientist and you like this, I think there's now pathways where way more than ever before. I've had people here who from Mexico that want to be astronauts, right? And that would be impossible before, right? Because you think you want to be an astronaut. You imagine the process it would just take to get to NASA. But now there's so many other companies that NASA's not even the option that they're looking at, right?
But it's inevitable, isn't it?
Right.
It must be. If you think about it, when it opens up, right? Yeah. It cannot be the only fighter pilots and become astronauts. Just like Inspiration 4.
Yeah, and what we can see now.
This guy was one of the finalists in Inspiration 4. The guy that I interviewed here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he didn't make it, but he was one of the finalists, and he's from Matamoros, which is right across the border from here.
Awesome.
And and the girl that was here right now before you guys, that was recording for NASA, she's also from Matamoros.
Awesome.
And she now works in California for JPL and NASA, and so. Like what you were saying, right? They studied here. I've had her and I've talked to her, and she was like, I was the only person into space when I was a little kid, and everybody thought I was weird. And now she works for NASA, right? It's just it can happen to anybody anywhere, right?
Exactly. Just need to put your mind into it. Yeah, we broadcasted Inspiration 4, right?
Right. Yeah, the launch of the Inspiration 4 is it was so fantastic because the first all civilian crew was launched. So
especially Healy, I mean everybody. She is a legend.
Yeah.
Especially
living legend.
Seeing her life story, living with cancer and surviving it, and now she's channeling all her energy.
Yeah,
exactly. And this is the powerful stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what inspires kids. right? That's what
Yeah.
inspires. Like, because she's so young too. It's like the young people are like looking at this now and seeing like I can do it, right?
Yeah.
Where David at 9 probably thought like I don't know, I like space, but I don't know if I could do it.
Hold on,
right?
you wanted to become an astronaut, right?
Yeah, actually, we've been we have been a collection, or not a collection, but we started a program, a selection.
Yeah.
It's called HUNOR, so Hungarian to orbit.
Okay.
It's the it's a mosaic word for it. HUNOR.
Hunor, yeah.
HUNOR.
Hunor?
Yeah. HUNOR, yeah. It's actually a Hungarian name as well, so that's why
Yeah.
only the Hungarians can understand much better as foreign people. So it was a selection for all around this the country. So you don't have to be either an engineer or a scientist. I have just applied, and
Yeah.
let's see what happens. So
Yeah.
why not? Because we have an agreement with Axiom Space, and hopefully in the near future, one of the Hungarian can go up with the Crew Dragon to the International Space Station.
That would
with
be
Axiom
amazing.
Space.
It would.
Yeah.
So it's an agreement between Hungary and this company, and for this launch has been a selection.
So I don't know if this helps you, but when I had him here, one of the biggest things, because he's not a scientist or was Twitter following, right? That's how he was competing, right, for this inspiration. And so I think a lot more of these companies want exposure. So what you're doing could help you get in, because the more exposure that you're giving to this,
Mutual.
yeah,
It's sending out a signal.
Yeah.
That, hey guys, you can fly with us. You don't need
Yes.
to be American or, Japanese or German. You can be coming from anywhere. You have to pay, obviously. You have to buy the seats, but you can be there.
Yeah.
And we get this question all the time. Why? Why not to spend it on build roads or bridges or whatever? It's a fair question, and I think it needs to be answered. That the fact that if we would send somebody up, male or female, doesn't matter. That person can A, conduct science up in space.
right,
B, we can gain access to certain programs, international programs, space programs, and also that person can go around in schools and say, look, I saw the Earth.
right.
We've been orbiting 16 times a day.
Yes.
It's a beautiful planet. It's so fragile.
Inspirational.
We need to look after it.
Yeah.
And just when we think about that, how many experiments will be made by this one guy? So it helps for the universities, because lots of university can send his experiments up, and without this program, it wouldn't be possible. So we cannot say NASA to please bring us our experiment and let's see what happens.
We can,
But if a Hungarian guy can bring up a Hungarian experiment to the ISS, it brings for the universities so many possibilities and so many knowledge.
It's very inspiring. So I because of all of this, there's a program here for students that started, and they brought in an astronaut who was, so there's an astronaut from the area that was the director of the International Space Station for a while, or the command, I don't know what they call
Commander.
it. Yeah, the commander.
6 months maybe.
Yeah, he was Mike Folsom.
Okay.
He's retired now. He runs a university.
Oh, nice.
And he's such a good speaker, like one of the best speakers I've ever heard.
They all are.
He's very famous for a photo that he did. He's one of the most famous selfies because he took the selfie from space, and you can see him, and you can see the other.
You mean on EVA?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean being on a spacewalk or?
No, in the International Space Station, outside of it.
Yep.
And he shot it.
Nice.
And it's an amazing photo. And but just listening to him, and the kids were there, right, was so inspiring. So just to have somebody that has gone to space, that can speak, and that can explain to you like what it's like and what you can strive for, right? And just it doesn't even have to be that the kid has to go to space, but you can strive for so much in this world, right? And just getting to tell them like, hey, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And getting people from every country to be able to do that, right, would be amazing. So
I think it helps to find the human species to find our space, place in the universe. I resemble to the words of, I think, Jim Lovell said it when they went around the moon with Apollo 8.
Yeah.
8, right?
Yeah.
I think so. And when they went first time around the moon, and then the first humans who saw an Earth rise.
Yeah.
And he said that we went to discover the moon, and instead we discovered Earth.
Yes.
You saw from the first time from different point of view.
Right.
And I think that's the most powerful message you can give. That once you just stepping away from this old shenanigans that's going on the surface, then you see no borders,
Yeah.
no division. It's just one species, and we're trying to survive on our
And how
spaceship
tiny we
called
really
Earth.
are. How
exactly.
how
And
insignificant all these little problems that we think are.
He could just put the thumbs up and
Yeah.
says, okay, 4 billion people, visible, not visible,
Yeah.
visible.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I think that moment I've heard is been one that has changed so many minds, right? Because the first time that you get to see the world from out, then you really get to understand how tiny we are, where we're at, where
But in the same time, how significant we are.
Right.
Because life is super rare
Yeah.
in universe.
And if we think about only space tourism, if we just making a hop, or like what
William Shatner.
William Shatner,
yeah.
The overview effect.
Yeah, the overview effect. So he went not so high, I guess 20.
I don't think it
20
was even
kilometers
orbital,
or
right?
so.
It wasn't. I don't think it was orbital.
100.
Yeah, of
They,
course,
they,
100.
they crossed the
Above
They
the
did cross.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
The
they
von
crossed
Karman
the Karman
line. By the way, Theodore von Karman is a Hungarian
Yeah.
guy.
Really?
And this is the border of space. And
Okay.
he's named after this scientist. Yeah.
Yeah, so he went up 100 kilometers, and the overview effects could be seen from that distance already.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go to until to the moon, because if we go just 100 kilometers, all of the Earth can be seen.
Right.
It's just the
So-
fact that he said that. So what keeps us alive is 16 kilometers. That's how thick most of the atmosphere is. And he said that they shot across it like an instant.
Of course.
And then after that is just blackness. And everything around you want to kill you.
Wow.
And he just said, it's like, he kept saying, is it death or is it, wow, he couldn't grasp it. And he's like, what, over 90, 80, 89, I think. He's an old
Right.
man by
Quite
now.
old, yeah.
And he just couldn't comprehend what he was experiencing. I think,
Well, I think
Beautiful.
we're looking at these images that are coming out now daily, right?
Yeah.
And I can't comprehend that, right? You're looking at this stuff and you're trying to understand it, where it's like, okay, does this mean that it's way bigger than we thought? It's just every image is just so powerful,
Yeah.
right? And such high resolution now that you're just like looking at this and you're like, this is mind blowing.
Yeah,
Insane.
absolutely, yeah.
Right? You get to see this webs thing, and this is like, can you imagine 10 years from now what we'll be able to see, what we'll be able to understand? They're barely taking the images now and studying them.
I don't think we can.
Yeah, it's going to change the way we see everything. This telescope, just the telescope alone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're barely starting to take the pictures. Now you're going to study the pictures.
Yeah.
Now they're going to tell us, like, oh, we discovered all of this.
Yeah.
That's going to be.
I remember when Earth first came, the scientists from the MIRI instrument, when they took the first test photo,
Yeah,
and they already knew that they are right on their money.
right.
Because on that one photo, you could see so many galaxies. Just think about it. In one galaxy, usually in average, there are 200 billion stars,
Yeah,
all of them possible solar systems, and we are now just about to understand there are billions of
Yes.
galaxies out there.
yeah.
It's just by the sheer number, wherever you look in the sky, it's full of galaxies. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's all striking. I think I don't even know what we're gonna learn.
That's the beautiful.
Because that's
thing.
it, and it's beautiful.
The
But it's
unknown
also
unknown.
like if we thought we were small before, we are now tiny.
Very
I think they
tiny,
say there are the known unknowns
Right.
and the unknown unknowns. So we know there are
This
black.
Rumsfeld.
We know there are dark matter.
Right.
But we don't know what it is.
Right.
But the scary thing is what we don't even know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's where you just go, okay, that's too heavy.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, guys. I'm really happy to have you guys here.
It was a pleasure. To be
I
here.
hope you enjoyed Brownsville. We really hope you come back. If people from here or people that are listening want to find you guys, where do we find you? Space Junkie?
So we have a website, spacejunkie.hu. That's how, but it's written Hungarian, so maybe, YouTube channel, Space Junkie. Again,
that's in English?
It's also mixed bag. We have some English.
No, I mean, but the if I look up the channel, it's Space Junkie?
Yeah. Just Space Junkie, and with the logo, I think you will find us. Yeah. Twitter, maybe. We are good. We started TikTok, so we keep on putting all the nice content. What
there you go. We're big TikTokers at Beyond Media, so.
But I have to shout out for Maria Pointer.
Yeah, she's here. She's sitting right there.
She's been super sweet to us.
Yeah,
and I can recommend everybody to check her.
That's
channel.
amazing. She's really mean to everybody else. So I don't know how
so
she's really
nice.
Sweet. I'm just kidding.
No, seriously.
She's really nice to everybody.
She's so nice, and everybody, please follow her because she's in the epicenter.
Yeah, definitely. Follow her. Follow Beyond Media. Follow Space Junkie. And thank you, David. Thank you, Sabi, for being here. We hope you have a great trip back. And we hope you talk great about Brownsville. Send more Hungarians to us. Please.
We will.
Please. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure.